Hey guys, Rami here with your third stimulus check update and stimulus package update. The Wall Street Journal just released an article last night highlighting all the details of the stimulus bill that the Democrats revealed last night, and we have answers on the stimulus check income limitations, unemployment, and a lot more. So we'll go over this one article together, which will clarify so many things. I hope you stick around for the whole video because it will be very informative. Just please hit the like button on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So let's get right into it. So here it says House Democrats released the biggest piece of the coronavirus relief bill late Monday, offering a measure that would extend a $400 a week unemployment insurance payment through August 29th. This is different. We thought it was going to be to the end of September. And also send $1,400 per person payments to most households without lowering the income thresholds from earlier rounds. There's some details around this that we'll get into later on in the article, so make sure to stick around. So Democrats have been debating, we know that they've been debating whether to reduce those income levels, but the version headed for a Ways and Means Committee vote this week gives the full amounts to individuals with incomes up to $75,000 and married couples with incomes up to $150,000. The legislation also expands the child tax credit, broadens child care assistance, and bolsters tax credits for health insurance. So this piece of legislation will be combined with pieces advancing through other House committees with the aim of getting through the full House later this month. Together, the measures make up President Biden's $1.9 trillion aid plan, which Democrats are trying to push quickly through Congress. So this piece came out of the House Ways and Means Committee, and there's going to be other pieces in order to make up for the big $1.9 trillion. So the committee chairman, Richard Neal, said, "Our nation is struggling. The virus is still not contained, and the American people are counting on Congress to meet this moment with bold, immediate action." Other sections in this relief plan will provide $130 billion in funding for K through 12 schools, $40 billion for colleges and universities, and $39 billion for childcare providers. Mr. Biden has also proposed offering funds for vaccine distribution, unemployment programs, and state and local governments, among other measures. Now, this part is surprising here. The legislation will also incorporate a minimum wage increase of $15 an hour, though some Democrats, including President Biden himself, have questioned whether it would be possible to pass in the final legislation. We talked about this before because this is not something that will affect the federal budget, but it will affect businesses to pay their workers this $15 minimum wage. So I don't know how they plan on putting this or using it and passing it. We'll see what they do with it. And also, the Congressional Budget Office released a study saying that $15 minimum wage will lift 900,000 people out of poverty, but it will put 1.4 million people out of work. So I don't know how it will even out. Then it says here that there are some changes from the president's framework. The unemployment insurance extension goes through August 29th instead of the end of September. We just said this. And it doesn't include provisions that Democrats have discussed that would tie further aid to economic conditions instead of set dates. So maybe they had some provisions where if unemployment reaches a certain number, then they'll stop the unemployment payments. But this just goes straight to August 29th. So it'll most likely start from March 14th, March 15th, all the way to the end of August. Now, one of the largest pieces is the $1,400 payments, which are similar to the $1,200 checks issued after the March Economic Relief Law and the $600 payments issued after December's law. This round of payments will total $422 billion. There are some key differences here. This is where it gets important. This time around, children and adult dependents would be eligible for the full $1,400. Those adult dependents, including disabled adults and college students, haven't been previously eligible. I get so many questions from you guys asking about adult dependents. So this bill now adds the $1,400 to adult dependents as well. Now, I don't know, because they keep talking that the stimulus checks is $2,000, right? The $600 plus $1,400. Adult dependents didn't get the original $600. So I don't know if they're going to do that retroactive or just stick to $1,400 for adult dependents this time, and that's it. We'll have to wait and see the actual text of the bill. So here, a married couple with 2 children under 17 would get as much as $5,600 compared with $3,400 from the first round of payments and $2,400 in the second round. A single parent with a college student would get up to $2,800 compared to $1,200 from the first round and $600 in the second round. So obviously this round is much more expensive, and people and families will get a lot more money this time around. So here we talk about the phase out. The payment phase out faster as income rise, responding to lawmakers' concerns about higher income households possibly getting money. According to a committee summary, individual payments go to zero once individual income reaches 100,000, and married couples payments go to zero when income hits 200,000. So it will still phase out, but then there's the hard cliff at 100,000 for individuals and 200,000 for married couples filing jointly. So Senator Joe Manchin, a centrist Democrat whose support will be key to passing the legislation, his support will be key because remember, they're all banking on this passing with 51 to 50 votes, including Vice President Kamala Harris' vote to be the 51st and tie-breaking vote. But if one Democrat doesn't agree, that's going to be a problem. So what did Joe Manchin say? He had called for the payments to begin phasing down at 50,000 for individuals and 100,000 for couples. So this is going to be a double now, but he said, I'm going to look at it as long as we're targeting to people that really need it. Now, Democrats from more expensive areas praised this move. Working families in high-cost regions like the Bay Area are counting on the next round of economic impact payments and should not be left behind. And here's another important part that you guys should know about. The payments would be based on 2019 or 2020 incomes. So households who want the IRS to use their 2020 information because their income declined that year have an incentive to file their tax returns quickly before the payments go out. They could also get supplemental payments this year after they file their 2020 returns. So this is important. So if your 2019 income was higher than your 2020 income, you better file your tax return quickly so they use your 2020 return. But if your 2019 income was lower than your 2020 income, I would hold on filing your 2020 return. And even if in 2020 you did make less money than 2019, but you didn't get your tax return in time, they still sent you based on your 2019, and you know that you're owed money based on your 2020 income, you can still get it, but you'll have to wait to file next year in 2022 when you filed your 2021 tax income. But that's going to be a long time from now. Yeah, here it says that people who don't get the full payments that they are owed using 2021 information would be able to claim the rest on their 2021 tax returns early next year. As before, the payments aren't taxable, and people generally don't have to repay money they receive even if their income rises beyond the eligibility range. Now here, this part talks about the $15 minimum wage. We already covered that. And here now it says the legislation also includes a significant increase in the child tax credit for 2021 only, offering $3,000 per child instead of $2,000 and $3,600 for children under age of 6. In addition, parents of 17-year-olds would be eligible. The credit would be fully refundable, which means households can get the full benefit even if they have no income or owe no income taxes. The full expanded credit would be available to individuals making up to $75,000 and married couples making up to $150,000. Households making above those amounts wouldn't lose any of the $2,000 per child credit that already exists. So the credit expansion is a down payment on Democrats' anti-poverty plans, and many lawmakers in the party want to make a near universal child allowance a permanent part of the tax system. I think this is what we talked about in yesterday's video. The IRS would begin making monthly payments of the expanded child tax credit as early as July, giving families their money for the 2021 tax year well ahead of the tax filing season that starts in January 2022. Families would be able to opt out of the monthly payments. So this is what we talked about yesterday, where they're going to send you between $250 to $300 a month starting July. And this is a down payment because this is a credit for your 2021 taxes that you wouldn't normally receive until you file your tax return the following year. So now this is just like they're prepaying you this year for next year's tax credit, but you can opt out and then just get it next year. Now it also says he would also expand the tax credit for child and dependent care, taking the maximum credit to 50% of expenses so that a family with one child can get up to $4,000 and a family with two children could get $8,000. More low-income and middle-income households would get the full amounts, while high-income households would no longer benefit. So this is 50% of expenses. So this $4,000 means, to get the full $4,000 means that you spent $8,000 in childcare expenses. So then 50% $4,000, which is what you get back. And for a family with two kids, you would have to spend $16,000 to get the $8,000 back. That credit would start phasing out right at $400,000 of income. High-income households could benefit from another dependent care provision, which would more than double the maximum set aside in a tax-preferred flexible spending account to $10,500 for 2021. This proposal also extends a federal program that provides unemployment benefits to people who exhaust their state-level benefits. The program, which is currently set to expire in mid-March, will last through the end of August. So this is it. This is all the details that we have right now. A lot of information in this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share this video with your friends and family who might find it useful. We covered a lot of important information covering the income levels. Now it's set at a hard cliff for individuals at $100,000 and for married couples filing jointly at $200,000. We talked about the unemployment now going up to the end of August instead of the end of September. And we covered the child tax credit. There's a lot happening here. And also adult dependents, very important. They finally get a stimulus check. They passed on the $1,200. They passed on the $600. They didn't send it to adult dependents. Now finally the $1,400 adult dependents, you will get it at this time. So this is what we have right now. It looks like they want to finalize it by the end of the month. I'm still holding firm on my March 14th, March 15th date. We'll wait and see what happens. Thank you so much for watching. Please check out all the links in the description, and please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.